Boom! It's February the 7th. Holy smokerooey. Holy wowee. Wow. Welcome back. We're going to cover the Joe Rogan 911 missing podcast files, as I like to call it. Because, hey, it's horror. And they done 4 hours with Alex Jones, and they did mention 911, I think once, actually, but nothing you can wrap your mind around. And some frustration, I decided to come out, and also because you never know, I decided to come out and talk about it. Apparently that's not cool. Nor is shit like that, no? Shit like that is not cool. No matter how you look at it. Uh-oh. And that was Fox yesterday. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. Let's get busy. Since 911, your world has been flipped.
United 93, the traffic field is 1 o'clock, 12 miles, eastbound 370. Negative contact, we're looking at United 93. Somebody call Cleveland? United 93, verify 350. United 93, verify your...
Yeah, 993. And this was a plane that went kapooey into a great big field. And the story... it's not what you call a boring story. It's a rather interesting story because they didn't bother to go get the bodies or the plane. And so let's explore what we're talking about by saying...
The debris here is spread over a 3 to 4 mile radius, which has now been completely sealed off and is being treated, according to the FBI, as a crime scene.
Now, some of the footage is going to be bad, because it's old footage.
Governor Tom Ridge made some remarks earlier at a
but we make up for that right quick.
press conference. He had flown over the site. He said the emergency response here was immediate. He also said, and I don't know whether or not you all are able to see pictures of this, but...
No. So what we're going to do is walk you through it. A big passenger plane, like you're looking, went down into a hole. This is the official story, not Dana. No. Official story. Oh, shut up. Calling Dana conspiracy theorist. This is the official shit, okay? The real deal, punk. Just saying. And so where are...
You think it will go on being talked about and speculated over for years, decades to come?
Oh, I think that there are people that will never change their mind on it. Yes, because there's no way to really, truly...
He's the mayor, ex-mayor of Shanksville.
...prove it, because 92 or 93% of the remains of the aircraft and the people are still in that hole.
The small crater left by the plane is baffling to many people.
Okay, so the mayor says 93 to 95% of the passengers in the plane are down in the hole. Now, I thought about this long and hard. Went and talked to a couple of old guys on the top of a mountain. Back is still hurting from that one. But anyway, basically boils down to...
this hole, the assertion is that the airliner went into the hole and that there's an abandoned coal mine underneath. I'm serious.
I gotta play with the volumes sometimes. Try that again.
In this hole, the assertion is that the airliner went into the hole and that there's an abandoned coal mine underneath. I'm serious. I guess... But then, of course, if there is, well, then bring it up. But they don't do that. They don't bring up the wreckage. The other problem is the wreckage is strewn over 10 miles in a...
Strewed over 10 miles. We'll get to that. Love the TSA body cavity searches. Meanwhile, don't you like body cavity searches? You're not a patriot, are you? I can tell. Patriot would like that shit.
Some small fires in the woods, just small brush fire.
Now, this is a witness. Now, he didn't witness that part, but he's a witness. Witness. And here's what his statement is.
Some small fires in the woods, just small brush fires. The ground smoking, debris everywhere, pieces of metal, paper, insulation, wiring. And I just looked around and no people, and I'm thinking, where are the people?
Well, those people aboard Flight 93 who resisted the hijackers are now being remembered as heroes in the history of the United States for preventing a calamity from being an even worse one. Stephen?
Okay. All right. Drop the volume back down, because I got adjusted each time because of the way these clips worked out. So I never seen no bodies, no plane, no luggage. Okay, sounds like a typical plane crash to me, Dana. Okay, just bear with me. I'm just trying to flush this out. Trying to have a conversation about it. Kind of looks like a plane on that angle, don't it? It's weird how the shadow works out. But when you have a plane crash, you kind of want to get the bodies back. I know I'm reaching. That's not like Dana. Crazy. Dana wants to get the bodies back. What next, Dana? Black boxes too? Now they got those, but never got wedding rings or sneakers or shoes or luggage. No, we know luggage. Like if you drop it on the ground when you're coming out of the mall with it, it'll fucking disappear. It'll just atomize right there. So that's why you always got 4 people to handle everything you bring home from the mall. So you don't actually bump it and it fucking atomizes on you. But obviously you can see there's a plane crash there and whatever. But there's lots of bodies. 700 million a year getting groped by the monster, the one-armed bandit. Jet fuel didn't even bring down that tree, but hey, I love the TSA being treated like a criminal. It's cool. But the 9/11 memorial, just like the one at the Pentagon, has names of politicians, not victims. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's pretty interesting to say the least. Dedicated September 11th, they got mayor, deputy, committeeman. What the hell, right? Admiral? You got an admiral there? So what happened to the 8 black boxes? Were they ever found? Here's Giuliani saying, we got the box. They got them. There's connotations of Saddam Hussein on that little whatever. Burp, burp. We lost our own explosives during live drills, but we got the black boxes.
United 92, if you're equivalent center, I got please. United 1523, did you hear your company, did you hear some interference on the frequency here a couple minutes ago, screaming? Yes, I did, 797, and we couldn't tell what it was either. Okay.
Really, eh? And so there's no plane. It could be spread up to 10 kilometers. But hey, it could be a terrorist right there. I know if my kid was in that position and TSA was giving her a hard time, let's just say, it would have been a rough day for somebody. Yeah, I see all kinds of bodies and plane wreckage. we'll get to that, what it should look like in a second. We're just trying to tell the story. We're 10 minutes into the show. Good morning, everybody. I know it's a tedious pace I set for everybody to keep up with. And it's a incredible pace for myself. TSA program to jump up mall cops and the mind readers didn't work. Like the TSA, most of these people were hired because they called a telephone number on a coffee cup or a pizza box. Not kidding, not making it up. They don't have, they got badges, but they're administration, not legislation, right? So that's why they have to call the police when you won't do what they told you, because they're imaginary. Right? That's all I got left to replace is the camera. Once I get the new camera, things will change. It might never happen, but it could happen tomorrow. Who knows? DHS video. We got all shit cameras. I keep trying to make them work. I don't know why he's doing that today. DHS video characterizes white Americans as most likely terrorists. Terrorists! Terrorists! Keep going. So, the Joe Rogan Experience and Eddie Bravo was demonized and vilified in the comments section. Man, that wasn't accidental, because Eddie was asking good questions. Eddie was being Eddie. He wasn't like being some fucking arsehole or idiot or dummy or bird brain or dipstick at all. Not even close to it ever. Not even for a second. Didn't even fucking like fend that he was like making fun of that shit. Nothing. Legitimate questions every fucking time. But was demonized in the comments section because he was making legitimate connotations all the time. And if you had to went down this path of 911 like I thought they were going to do, and I spent 4 hours, I'm not sorry I did, because I enjoyed listening to the three of them, even when it got crazy, because they were drinking alcohol, so you knew it was going to get shit crazy at some point. And that's cool. Worldwide services. So this is a plane crash. Big friggin' plane. See it? Can you see it? Did you think that if you were, like over here, you would see some of that stuff? Maybe, yeah? Nah. How come you can't think about that in the context of that, right? How come you don't say, well, because if Joe and Alex and Eddie had went fucking to bat on this on the night in one episode, they would have had young Jamie whipping up these types of pictures, yeah? Not as cool as Dana can do. Green Day frontman kicked off the flight because of hiring people with fucking pizza boxes and coffee cups. His buddy had saggy pants. It could be a terrorist, like the airlines are lost control. See that they don't look the same, do they? Does that and this look the same? No. This is what a plane crash looks like. And this is what a fake plane crash looked like. And this is what satire of the TSA, like this shit, can get you into that kind of shit look like. Right? Because they want legislation to arrest people who satirizes, who says these people are fucking crazies.
This is one of those cases where the pictures really do tell the story, that sort of the most horrifying aspect of this particular crash scene is how little debris is visible. There is a large crater in the ground, and I'm hoping that you all are seeing it as I'm talking about it. But that's really all you see is a large crater in the ground and just tiny bits of debris. There's been at least one report that
My apologies.
Investigators out there, and there are hundreds of them, as I said tonight, have
It's kind of rough on everybody. Sorry.
found nothing larger than a phone.
Let me go check that audio, see what the frig is up. Oh, I do. I got it. We're having hardcore snow the last 4 or 5 days for the coastline of British Columbia, Canada. And so there's no bodies, no seats, no luggage. No, we know that. Thanks for telling us, though. Appreciate it. And that is weird because this is what it normally looks like, right? Let's play that one more time without the screaming.
This is one of those cases where the pictures really do tell the story, that sort of the most horrifying aspect of this particular crash scene is how little debris is visible. There is a large crater in the ground, and I'm hoping that you all are seeing it as I'm talking about it, but that's really all you see is a large crater in the ground and just tiny, tiny bits of debris. There has been at least one report that the investigators out there, and there are hundreds of them, as I said tonight, have found nothing larger than a phone book.
Nothing larger than a phone book. No matter how hard they tried. And see, luggage and seats and bodies, TSA, and find jack shit too. But a plane crash, normally, my experience, I know it's like it's a far reach and shit, but you expect to see something left, right? It's just a fucking plane. Psychological screening by dummies that got hired from fucking coffee cups, 1-800 numbers on coffee cups, and pizza boxes. Couldn't get a job, a real job. And this is what a plane crash should look like, not like that. Like we know plane crashes. It's very similar, and think about how batshit crazy the government. Well, like the people that work for the government are given a memo to go out and enforce something. They're like, fuck it, I'll go get it. I'll do it. I got a fucking gun. I got a suit on, bulletproof vest, big shot. Everybody's scared of me, so I'm just going to exploit that and pretend I'm fucking demon instead of doing a job, like going to arrest the people that are fucking everybody and hiding death, right? Go find the fuckers. You want to be a cop? Go find the fuckers. Go find the plane. You fucking bird brain, right? It's not that hard, is it? Just go down the hole and get it, big shot. TSA is searching your cars and subways and ferries and buses and plane because you can't find, because they don't have to show you the evidence, right? They don't need evidence to do all this to your friends and your families and grope everybody. They just got to pretend that it happened. Now it's okay. We can grope the fuck out of everybody. The Department of Homeland Security recruiting hotel guests to join the fight against terrorism, right? But it's all based upon fakery, right? 9/11.
Miles, it ended at the site you can see over my left shoulder, marked by the American flag. That is where United Flight 93 crashed into the earth and nearly vaporized after a heroic flight.
What do you mean fucking vaporized? Your money vaporized in your country, your freedom vaporized.
It ended at the site you can see over my left shoulder, marked by the American flag. That is where United Flight 93 crashed into the earth and nearly vaporized after a heroic flight.
He fucking said it again.
Vaporized. 93 crashed into the earth and nearly vaporized.
My young D.
After a heroic flight.
Joe's got young Jamie. I got young little D. Come on, young little D.
Crashed into the earth and nearly vaporized after a heroic flight.
Vaporized? I like the way he said it. Sticks his nose up when he says it. Vaporized. Shut up, you conspiracy theorist. Vaporized, telling you.
Who we were then, and small things, of course, have changed in our everyday lives. It's not so small for the Facebook users. No Facebook then. Victims had to rely on listservs to try to mobilize on September 10th, 24 hours before the attack.
She's such a skank, man.
1% of Americans, 24 hours before, said terrorism was even one of the nation's.
Right, 24 hours before, less than 1%. 24 hours before 9/11 took place, before they staged it. Like yesterday's video, today's videos, do you really need any more? But anyway, but yeah. 1% thought of terrorism. They all work for the government trying to get a contract.
Top problems in that age of innocence.
Now it's something that most Americans say they think about all the time.
Now, just a few days later, this was the biggest MK Ultra psyop ever perpetrated up on the planet.
Something we do think about, but boy, it has been such a wounding decade in so many ways, but we've also seen that resilience that we've talked about. And we had Bill Weir go back and take a look at how we've changed. It's an amazing story.
Oh, shit! The government's attacking us to take away our freedoms.
Many will ask, where were you on that severe, clear morning?
Huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
But here's a deeper question.
You okay, officer?
Who were you? And how did you change?
I come out fought non-stop ever since. Pounded it and grounded it, yeah. I'm not letting you off with everything. I'm on your 6 all the fucking time, bitches.
Was that the first time you ever stood in line to give blood or buy a flag?
Yeah, you came and took it from me a little while ago when you arrested me for calling you on your fucking lies.
How long did you cheer for every passing fire truck?
Every time I see one of you fucks die, I put it on shit I gotta do in the future to go to your gravestone and piss on it.
Or flinch at the sight of a Muslim scar?
I ain't worried about Al-Qaeda. I'm worried about Al Cracker in the fucking White House.
Did you drive cross country?
Right? And you see what was left of a building? One of the biggest buildings on the planet?
To help dig through the pile? And were those tears of fear or pride
when your son joined the army to go create 5 million refugees?
You rushed down to enlist.
You rushed down to enlist.
Now that the smoke has cleared and the rubble is gone. Now that the shattered stores are back in business and the president's bullhorn is in a museum.
And the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Millions dead, millions missing, millions in refugee camps, 5 million orphans just in Afghanistan to get 10,000 Taliban. You got 22,000 drone strikes in fucking Pakistan to get the same 10,000 Taliban. You got 22 veterans committing suicide on the streets every day. That's over 80,000 in the first decade. You got 29,000 fucking rapes in the military every year to get the same 10,000 Taliban. You got the TSA out groping the fuck out of everybody every year, all day, every day for something that didn't even fucking happen.
The ground smoking, debris everywhere, pieces of metal, paper, insulation, wiring. And I just looked around and no people, you know, and I'm thinking,
no
where
bodies.
are the people?
No bodies. A big friggin' hole in the ground. Big lie, big make-believe. And they wrecked you, wrecked your economy, wrecked your country, wrecked your schools and your children with this propaganda. And Hollywood come out and bombarded you. Universities have created terrorism courses all based upon something that didn't fucking happen. You redirected everybody from going into a future where we all got flying cars and helmets that can handle that shit.
Quickly to Chris Kanicki, He's a photographer with the Pittsburgh affiliate of Fox affiliate. He was back there just a couple of minutes ago, and Chris, I've seen the pictures. It looks like there's nothing there except for a hole in the ground.
Basically, that's right. The only thing you could see from where we were was a big gouge in the earth and some broken trees. We could see some people walking around in the area, but from where we could see, there wasn't much left.
Any large pieces of debris at all?
No, there was nothing that you could distinguish that a plane had crashed there.
Nothing you can distinguish that a plane had crashed. And then the repercussions of staying silent, the repercussions of just not holding these people accountable, is they're going to turn everybody against everybody, but they're going to turn your children against you, just like the Nazis and the freaks will try to do to you, where people take a job to go grope you and your children because it's easier to do what you're told than to do what your constitutions or your Bill of Rights or your Magna Cartas demand of those players, of those actors. These are actors, you know, that are molesting you and your friends. These are the same people that are spying on your children at all the venues. They're trying to put the cameras in the fucking bathrooms. They're completely out of control. Where the underwear bomber was, you know, the bomb couldn't go off. It couldn't detonate. He was given a dud. Out of all the terrorist attempts in the United States, all of them had FBI, CIA handlers, every fucking one of them. First the shoe bomber, you lost your shoes. Then the underwear bomber, and then you got to stand in front of detectors. At what point are you going to say that you've run into this? Think about this clip I'm going to show you from I can't remember, 47, 48 or something. I'll turn it down.
The mission of these drone aircraft will be to obtain samples from the heart of the deadly radioactive cloud arising after the detonation. Years of research in the remote control of unmanned aircraft are represented in the successful electronic operation of this great four-engine airplane. The pilot of the drone rides in the nose of the control plane. By means of a television system, he checks the drone instrument panel and maintains control through the highly complex electronic impulse circuit.
So drones have been around forever and ever and ever, so to speak, in contexts of this is. I remember originally they were saying, like, people were saying, there could have been a drone. Everybody's like, that's stupid. Drones can't. But we see the evidence just back in 1948 using big drones. All planes are remote control anyway.
The video cameras caught trucks arriving at the World Trade Center from about August 23rd until every night until about September 2nd.
Now, that stuff we'll cover later this week. Shanksville, that wasn't supposed to be in for today's show. Today's about Pennsylvania. Yesterday was the Pentagon. Twin Towers starts tomorrow. Indian Lake, golf course, blah, blah, blah. Let me see. 4 airliners. This is not what I was expecting. A building collapsed and he said 3,000 people being killed but never published their names. Netanyahu, I lost track of what, yeah, supposed to do backwards. Netanyahu said 9/11 terror attacks was good for Israel, which is the fourth biggest producer of weapons on the planet. And Sarkozy, who's now going to go to trial for something. These politicians, these despicable, disgusting, crazy politicians, you know they're going to be a bald-faced liar the minute you hear their name. Step away. So the TSA, so this story here never happened, right? They got coloring books for your children, though. We shall never forget 9/11, but it never happened. Your children are out there coloring that, but it never happened, right? In order to brainwash the children, this is one of the other ways the TSA brainwashes the children, right? You get it? And then the people that are working for the TSA, well, they're completely out of control. And let's come back up. Where's Dana too? So the fable is no plane parts on fire. No plane. The plane went all the way down in the hole. So why not go down the hole and get the body out? How bad could that be? I actually had a contest where I offered $3,000 for anybody who would go get the bodies out years ago. I'll give you $3,000 to go down and with a pick and shovel and get some of the bodies for the loved ones. These guys were like, we're part of a fucking union. We don't got to go down and get no fucking bodies. We don't got to do jack. We're with the government. We don't do fuck all. You don't tell us what to do. Fuck you. So that's why we never got the body, because someone said, you should go get the body, and the government got upset. Who the fuck are you to tell us what to do? We love the TSA. They don't tell us what to do, the government said. Okay, I made that part up. So you got a scene with no wreckage like this from another aircraft wreckage. This is what an aircraft wreckage normally looked like. Right? And the inspectors would be there, and they're like, looks like an airplane to me, Jimmy. And Jimmy says, yeah, I think so, Tommy. Tommy, it looks like an airplane. Okay, let's put that in our log. We're going to log it in as an airplane. And when they got here, he said, it looks like an airplane to me, Timmy. And he said, yeah, Jimmy, it looks like an airplane to me, too. And he said, okay, well, let's put it in the log. So they put it in the log, and then the TSA said, We're going to show up. We're going to guard you and take care of you and touch your junk. And we're going to take you through psychological screening processes. But we're not going to go demand that they show us the evidence so that we can have a moral compass. We're not going to say, hey, we'll go down and get this shit out of the hole for you. You know, we'll go get all that plane wreckage is way down in that hole. Even though nobody's... because there's supposed to be an old mine shaft there, and the plane went down in the old mine shaft and disappeared. It was the official story. It didn't crash into the ground. It went into an old mine shaft. And don't ask these people to explain that, right? Don't ask these people to say, you know, why not go down and get the fucking bodies or the rings, you know, the wedding rings or the IDs or passports of the loved ones or the terrorists. No. They just want to lie to you and then criminalize anything you say about it. Demonize and vilify anybody that comes out with another narrative. And so I would say Joe or Alex got a text just before they went live saying, don't fucking do it, man. Don't you show pictures of a wreck and ask that question, how come it's not there but here? Don't fucking do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. And these people buy into that, right? They know what they're doing. And they had the power to bust the story wide open last week. They could have blew it wide open by doing what I done yesterday and today. Just a little tiny fractions of it. Young Jamie could have went and got his hands on some of that shit. Right? They could blow the story wide open. Like he done. Like he was a patriot. He's more of a man than most people out there because he come out and said, hey, you know, there's fucking nothing there. But there's not many people like him showed up in the media is all I'm saying. I'm just flipping subjects. My apologies. Well, there you go. That's it. That's all of it. And if you love being treated like a little criminal that you know you are, the TSA will be happy to grope you and your loved ones and your friends and your families every time you want to go somewhere till a very end of fucking time. Because no one will hold them accountable. No one will say, yeah, no, maybe, just maybe, just fucking reaching and saying that there could have been. Nah, I know. Like if you say it, they'll tweet you a picture of Janet Napolitano, right? You'll be like, huh, I can't text or say anything for 24 hours. We're blind. I'm blind. Oh, Jesus. Not the Janet. Anything but Janet. Vision's back. That was a close call, man. I'm fucking pretty dizzy. Got kind of weak that time. Anyway. God bless the TSA. God bless the TSA for groping those children. God bless the TSA for groping Alex Jones's children and Joe Rogan's children. Taking them in the back room and fondling them because they won't speak out. Leering over them. You're Alex Jones' little daughter, are you? Here, take this candy, little kid. I can see the TSA now. God, oh, someday in the near future, those kids are going to grow up, and the TSA is going to have their way with those children. You won't be able to protect them forever. Right? And Rudy Giuliani, prick. Like, he's a prick because he knows there's no wreckage. She's a nightmare monster because she knows there's no wreckage in Pennsylvania, yeah? Like, you don't have to be a genius. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe I'm a genius. Maybe I'm like, wow. The future, people go like, there was this one man out there, Dana Durford, and he got pictures of Pennsylvania on a plane crash and said, what if? What if? The world ignored him and the TSA became a household name. And then anybody who ever spoke out were immediately throttled by bandwidth and censorship. And algorithms were assigned to all their phones and devices, and IP and friends' IPs, addresses from their contacts were all censored to make sure nobody could help him ever. Fucking camera hates me, man. That's it. That's what happens when you're impoverished. You try to do the moral and ethical thing. Keep losing my fucking... I don't know what the hell that's about. Maybe if I brighten up the lights a little bit. See if that helps out of curiosity for a few seconds. I'm not going to move. I'm just going to stay really still. And I'm going to talk like a ventriloquist without moving my mouth. So far, still staying focused. Maybe lack of light got something to do with it, Dana. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, shut the fuck up, Dana. Get over it. Get rid of it. Get on with the show. So we covered United Flight 93. And the Pentagon. What am I thinking there's supposed to be another plane for, I wonder? Oh, I know what I'm thinking about. I was thinking about Building 6. And there's a video on my website. Beautiful girl by Dana on YouTube. Building 6. I think that's going to be Friday's video. Tomorrow we're going to cover the Twin Towers. And the Twin Towers, we'll give you a little prelude to the Twin Towers.
We do have some breaking news that we want to bring you around, and we're going to go to a live picture from New York City. Apparently, a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center in New York, 8:52. We have limited information at this point. We don't know about injuries in the building or people on the ground, but obviously this has potential for being a major disaster here. Look at that.
And there was glass flying everywhere.
Now look at that plane, eh? Looks more like a jet.
All right, looks like we're going to
Jet fighter, in one sense, don't it?
a little bit of audio problem with that, so I'm going to say thanks to Joe Trachtenberg for talking to us and telling us what he saw.
But anyway, we're going to cover that tomorrow. That's the end of our show today. Like you say, we're just going to cover some basic information about all of these plane crashes on that day. Important information. Instead of going down, because there's so many different variations of what happened, when just show you the documentations, and then you can make up your own mind based upon the actual documentation, right? So now if you go out and you hear people talking about Pennsylvania, you have all these visuals I gave you. Same for Pentagon yesterday. I gave you all that documentation of the actual on-the-ground footage. And you're able to make up your own mind who's telling the truth and who's lying way more effectively than without that foresight, yeah? So, let's call it a day. It's that time again where we came out and we've done the best we can with what we got, and that's all we are. That's who we are. And we send huge respects out to everybody. Thomas, thank you, Thomas Ackerman. Neil, Censor, and Lane for doing the moderating, which is a brutal job, trust me, folks. And it's not a perfect job. You got to learn it as you're doing it. You'll make mistakes, and you'll do the right things, and you'll make mistakes, and it's a big learning curve. And the only way to learn is to make those mistakes, and we all go through it. We are talking about generally small things that don't matter in that context, but they matter ultimately, I think, to everybody that experiences it, and it matters to somebody sometimes more so. And you got to deal with it. We got to deal with all the PR firms and the public relation. We know the Pentagon got 29,000 public relation people working for them directly, 29,000. And we are just a handful of people. And it's a thankless job what Elaine does, thankless job what I do. But to me, being able to come out and show the documentation, the information, and presenting it in a format that is familiar to the average person should be helpful and is worth doing. Even though it's an enormous, unbelievable, idiotic amount of work for me just to pull this little short video off. I'm so grateful for that opportunity. I really am. Thanks for everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk about the towers. Take care.